just wonder, it's a little template. We saw Marco Jansen in Ranchi, boundary and 4 wides. Now here, boundary and 4 wides. Just wonder, it's a little template. We saw Marco Jansen in Ranchi.
So no changes in the winning combination. Won the last game. After it goes past the batsman.
South Africa, we talked about the 3 changes. Good to see Tema Bavuma back. He had his rest and raring to go, leading the team once again. And we believe he's actually going to come at number 2 in the batting lineup. Put it across the stay at number 3. And then the changes in the bowling part. Maharaj, no surprise. All that experience on the back, and then Windy and Giddy also offers up.
Or even 4. Hayden Markham. Thinking the clock instead.
How is that? I was really surprised that Quinton said the Guardian has to cricket as early as he did. He's simply fine white ball cricketer. Well, there is a fielder there. Oops! Youngisani and Giri. Ball was travelling very quickly, had to come down a long way. So it will be a boundary. 14 of the first over. Youngisani and Giri. Ball was travelling very quickly, had to come down a long way.
Yeah, he had done well. He got to the ball, but I think he almost tripped over his feet. Being position, this one just looks back at that inside edge, nearly drags onto the stumps, out away from himself. That's the good work done. And a stumble, a kick. Oh, there we go. Off the knee onto the advertising cushions, and 4 runs.
So Giri gets the new ball. Is there a pecking order for the new ball? Or is it that, say, right, when Giri's playing, he gets it?
Yeah, Lungi normally gets when he's playing. Left-hander, right-hander combination, also there may be Lungi mixed it up a touch. It's probably the more flexible of the 3.
Gives South Africa a much stronger option. I think again, certainly Bosman. Just the experience of Giri, ability to go with the new ball. The slow balls come back in the middle of late overs. Just the one slip for him though. He starts with a wide too.
Hasn't been a very good start from South Africa. It's been a bit wild and woolly.
Just the one slip for him. Looking to go through the offside again. He loves it, but that ball is a bit capricious today. This time the swing was right. He's actually going away from it. He's actually done so well. Then that right knee. First ball probably that he was just trotting in his under the third.
Chinese he sometimes charges in properly, and some days he can take his time to get going.
साथ में महाराज का वो जो बीच में विकेट निकालने वाला एक्सपीरियंस है, लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर है जो राइट हैंड बल्लेबाज के सामने गेंदबाजी करते हैं, तो वो मिस किया। ये ज़्यादा मजबूत टीम नज़र आ रही है साउथ अफ्रीका की। साथ में महाराज का वो जो साउथ साइड और फिर गेंद स्टंप को हिट ना करती है, लेग स्टंप के बाहर निकल जाते हैं बल्लेबाज के सामने।
तो वैसे थोड़ा लाइन में परेशान हो रहे हो इरफान, तो गेंदबाज क्या क्या वो हल्के से वेरिएशंस लेके आता है कि सही लाइन और लेंथ आप पकड़ें।
अभिषेक ने बहुत बड़ी बात की, बहुत अच्छी बात की, क्योंकि बतौर तेज गेंदबाज नई गेंद के सामने मेरे सामने सिचुएशन आई है कि मैं जब लाइन ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ और बहुत ज़्यादा तवज्जो दे रहा हूँ एकदम अच्छी लाइन के साथ गेंदबाजी करने में, उसमें एक तो ये साफ नजर आता है कि कई बार कॉन्फिडेंस आपका नीचा होना, तो जिस तरह से एनडीडी भाग रहे हैं अभी एकदम आराम से भाग रहे हैं, उसमें तकलीफ आती है। तो अगर आपने रनअप अच्छा तेज कर दिया ना, तो आपकी जो बॉडी अलाइनमेंट है वो ऑटोमेटिक सेट हो जाती है। आप देखिए ये ऐसा लग रहा है बहुत आराम से भागने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये गेंदबाज वो है जो कंट्रोल ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहा है। अब जो वो कंट्रोल ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहा है, कंट्रोल उससे ज्यादा दूर जा रहा है। पिछली 2 मैच में आपको कंपैरेटिवली बेहतर नजर आया है। कई बार अगर ऐसा हो, जो भी हमारे यंग लिसनर्स सुन रहे हैं, कोशिश करें, ये वो जो अपील थी वो खेलना की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हल्की सी सिलेक्शन के बाहर निकली तो यहीं से बात खत्म हो गई। पिछली 2 मैच में आपको कंपैरेटिवली आके तेज भाग लीजिए अगर आपके लिए काम नहीं हो रहा है। अच्छा फ्लिक शॉट
10 गेंदों का ओवर सिंगल के साथ हुआ समाप्त।
हल्की सी सिलेक्शन के बाहर
क्या फिनिश है यार शर्मा।
थैंक यू यार, हाथ घिस गए।
अगर आपके लिए काम नहीं हो रहा है। अच्छा फ्लिक शॉट
10 गेंदों का ओवर सिंगल के साथ हुआ समाप्त।
क्या फिनिश है यार शर्मा।
थैंक यू यार, हाथ घिस गए।
अगर आपके लिए काम नहीं हो रहा है। अच्छा फ्लिक शॉट
10 गेंदों का ओवर सिंगल के साथ हुआ समाप्त।
क्या फिनिश है यार शर्मा।
थैंक यू यार, हाथ घिस गए।
अच्छी शुरुआत नानवे बर्गर की इस ओवर में। नहीं, ये शुरुआती दौर जो है, आप चाहेंगे थोड़ा दबाव बनाएं, एक एंड से वो नहीं मिला, लेकिन मैच शुरू होने के पहले एक दबाव है जो चलता ही जा रहा है भारत के साथ। आईडीएफसी फर्स्ट बैंक स्टैट जब आप देखेंगे, लगातार 20 वनडे में टॉस हारने वाली पहली टीम बनी है भारत, जिसकी संभावना अब मिलियंस में है। मतलब 10,48,576 वाकई हो तो उसमें ऐसा एक बार हो सकता है। वो दिख रहा है वो दबाव, तो सब कुछ अपना लिया, अलग अलग टोटके अपना लिए।
ये टीम भी स्पेशल है ना, स्पेशल चीज ही करते हैं। टॉस भी अंदाज के साथ हारे, यहाँ पे पूरी कोशिश की राहुल की, चुम्मा लगाया उस गेंद को, साथ में कुछ मंत्रा भी झपा होगा उसका, लेकिन कुछ फायदे का नहीं। वो चेहरा, ये अक्सर जब कोई आउट होता है ना, तब आपको इतना निराशजनक चेहरा नजर आता है, लेकिन वो भी जानते हैं बस मैं तो उड़ा सकता हूँ, बाकी भगवान के हाथ में।
ये टॉस का वही हाल है, कप्तान आए, कप्तान बदले, ग्राउंड बदले, कंट्रीज बदले, एक चीज नहीं बदली, टॉस हारना। केएल राहुल भी हारे, रोहित शर्मा भी हारे, शुभमन गिल भी हारे। यार वो कहते हैं ना कि अगर आप टॉस हारते जाओ तो कैप्टन को नहीं किसी और को भेज दो, तो यहाँ पे तो सब कुछ बदल के देख लिया।
उसमें एक्चुअली दक्षिण अफ्रीका ने टेस्ट मैचेस में किया था 2019 में जब आए थे। अब ये भी है कि केएल राहुल के हाथ में सिक्का है, वो उछाल सकते हैं। कॉल सही टेमा बबूमा ने की है।
यार आई कांट बिलीव दिस कि राहुल ये कह रहे कि अगर मैं थोड़ा और ऊपर उछालता ना तो शायद बेहतर होता। आई कांट बिलीव दिस।
हवाओं से कुछ बदलाव आ जाता नतीजे के रुख में, लेकिन बरखुरदार कुछ नहीं बदला। और खैर ना बदले कि टॉस चाहे हार रहे हैं, हालांकि विश्व कप के फाइनल में बहुत चोटिल हुए थे, लेकिन उसके बाद से जीतते गए, पूरी चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी जीती बिना टॉस जीते।
या तो हर मैच में आके सिर्फ हेड ही बोलो, या तो फिर टेल ही बोलो, या फिर चेंज करते रहो, एक मैच में हेड, एक मैच में टेल।
और जब आप होम टीम कैप्टन है, एक्चुअली कॉल तो आप कर ही नहीं रहे, आप तो सिर्फ सिक्का ही उछाल सकते हैं
जब भी। लेकिन अगर आपको मौका मिलता है तो आप एक चीज पे अड़े रहिए ना। अभिषेक, आपको क्या लगता है कि कैसे टॉस जीता जाए? कुछ तो प्लानिंग करनी पड़ेगी।
मेरे दिमाग में एक ही चीज चल रहा था कि हार के जीतने वाले को इन द ग्रेट वर्ड्स ऑफ शाहरुख खान बाजीगर कहते हैं।
अगर कहीं किसी को नहीं पता था कि कोलकाता के साथ भी नाता है इनका। एक वाइड इस ओवर में भी आई, लेकिन उसके इर्द गिर्द पिछले ओवर को खत्म किया था कुछ डॉट गेंदों के साथ। ये भी ऐसा लगा ट्रायल लाइन के ज्यादा बाहर है, विथ जिसका इंतजार कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो रीच से भी बाहर है ये विथ। ये परेशानी होगी दक्षिण अफ्रीका के लिए। अगर आप अतिरिक्त की तरफ जाते हैं तो इस समय वो लगभग टॉप स्कोर जो है वो एक्स्ट्राज का है, 12 एक्स्ट्राज इस समय जो टॉप स्कोर पे है।
ये पिछले मैच में जिस तरह से आउट हुए थे, यशस्वी निराश थे, ऐसा लगा कि ज़्यादा ओपन हो गए। अच्छी गेंद थी, तेज़ गेंद थी, एक बार बीट ही उसी लाइन और लेंथ पे हो चुके हैं नरेंद्र बर्गर के सामने, लेकिन पहली गेंद पे आज चौका लगाया था।
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है इरफान, में बात कर रहे थे कि अक्सर जब आप यशस्वी के साथ खास करके बल्लेबाजी करते हो तब जो नॉन स्ट्राइकर होता है ना, बहुत कम स्ट्राइक मिलता है, क्योंकि ऐसे खिलाड़ी है जो चौके और छक्कों में विश्वास करते हैं, सिंगल डबल में नहीं। रोहित शर्मा के जो दूसरे ओडीआई पार्टनर है शुभमन गिल, उन्हें स्ट्राइक रोटेट करना पसंद है, उनके साथ चौका लगाते हैं, तो एक मानसिक तौर पे भी एक अलग सोच के साथ रोहित शर्मा को उतरना होगा, क्योंकि ये लगभग तीसरी ओवर है और मात्र 2 गेंद खेले रोहित, और अगर आखिरी गेंद पे 1 रन ले लिया इरफान तो फिर और रुकना होगा उन्हें।
17 गेंदों में रोहित शर्मा ने अभी तक 2 गेंदें खेली हैं। पिछले मैच में 36, 27, 37 गेंदों में 6 गेंदें खेले थे। खैर पिछले मैच में भी ये बात हमने महसूस की थी, देखी थी, लेकिन रोहित शर्मा ने अपने एक्सपीरियंस के लिहाज से एडजस्ट कर दिया। अगर ये कोई सामने इनएक्सपीरियंस बल्लेबाज हो तो दिक्कत हो सकती है, लेकिन उम्मीद यही करेंगे रोहित शर्मा जिसने अपने खेल में कई सालों में कई बदलाव किए हैं, तो ये जब चेंज आता है पार्टनर के साथ, दूसरे पार्टनर के साथ खेलना, उसमें भी आपको ये छोटी सी जो बात रहती है स्ट्राइक कम आती है, उसमें एडजस्ट करना ये बड़ा ज़रूरी है, लेकिन वो एक्सपीरियंस काम आता है वहाँ पे।
आखिरी गेंद पे बीट किया, चारों खाने चित थे लगभग। टेस्टिंग ओवर नांद्रे बर्गर का हुआ समाप्त। रोहित शर्मा सामने लुंगी अंगीरी, उम्मीद रहेगी कि वाइड के साथ शुरुआत ना हो इस ओवर की अंगीरी को। बेहतर लाइन, बेहतर लेंथ, सॉफ्ट हैंड्स, क्विक सिंगल। इस बार स्ट्राइक आई और रोहित शर्मा सिंगल लेके नॉन स्ट्राइकर एंड पे।
ये खास बात रही है ओवर द इयर्स रोहित शर्मा की, बड़े शॉट जरूर लगाते हैं लेकिन उसके बीचों बीच जो सिंगल निकालते हैं ना पावर प्ले में, ये एक आर्ट है। हम अक्सर पावर प्ले में खास करके चौके पे ज़्यादा आप सोच रखते हैं, लेकिन रोहित शर्मा की सोच ये जब वो शिखर धवन के साथ आप चर्चा कर रहे थे जतिन की, जब बल्लेबाजी करते थे उनकी सबसे बड़ी ताकत थी सिंगल निकालना। वो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है जो वीरेंद्र सहवाग, गौतम गंभीर में भी नज़र आता था कि जैसे बल्ले और गेंद का संपर्क होता 30 यार्ड के दायरे के अंदर भी वो सिंगल्स मिलते थे, लेकिन यशस्वी अलग तरीके के बल्लेबाज है, तो रोहित को उसके तरफ से अडेप्ट करके खेलना होगा।
ये थोड़ी अप्रोच की बात है। ये सवाल कई बार मैंने शिखर और रोहित से पूछा जब वो साथ में थे कि आपकी रोल डेफिनेशन क्या है, तो कहते थे फील्ड दोनों लेते हैं विकेट की, लेकिन जिसका बल्ला शुरुआत में थोड़ा चल गया वो अग्रेसर हो जाता है शुरुआत में पावर प्ले के लिए। रोहित और शुभमन के बीच में भी कॉन्वर्सेशन होती है, शुभमन कहते हैं मैं अलॉन्ग द ग्राउंड ज़्यादा खेलता हूँ, रोहित शर्मा एरियल रूट लेते हैं, लेकिन जो सेटअप है और जो अप्रोच है, क्या यशस्वी जायसवाल की वहाँ सोच थोड़ी कम है स्ट्राइक रोटेशन की, या बाउंड्री तलाशी जाए इस समय, या फिर वो विकेट पे पूरी तरीके से रिस्क ना लिया जाए।
और दूसरी एक और इम्पोर्टेंट बात, सेट भी तो होना है ना वनडे सेटअप में, और ये उस लिहाज से जो यशस्वी जब आपको ज़्यादा गेंदें खेलते हुए नज़र आ रहे हैं, और उसमें रोहित शर्मा का जो आपको पीछे से जो सपोर्ट है वो भी नज़र आ रहा है, क्योंकि रोहित शर्मा लीडर रहे, बहुत ज़बरदस्त लीडर रहे, उन्हें पता है कि गेंदबाजी में किस तरह से गेंदबाजों को चलाना, अगर नया गेंदबाज है, और बल्लेबाजी में भी जो बल्लेबाज नया आता है अगर उसकी सोच वैसी नहीं है स्ट्राइक रोटेशन की, तो उस पर ज़्यादा दबाव नहीं डालना, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर यही बहुत साल साथ में खेल रहे होते वनडे क्रिकेट में, तो शायद आप ये कह सकते हैं कि रोहित शर्मा जाके यशस्वी को कहे कि भाई चल थोड़ा स्ट्राइक दे मुझे, लेकिन अभी पूरा अलाव करना ये भी बड़ा ज़रूरी है कि दूसरे छोर से वो प्रेशर ना आए।
इरफान है काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है। जब हम प्रिपरेशन कर रहे थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया के पहले, तब एक चीज़ जो हम प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे वो था नॉन स्ट्राइकर एंड पे खड़े होने की आदत, क्योंकि अक्सर एक बल्लेबाज को वो आदत होती नहीं है। और जब आप काफ़ी अंतर के बाद अंतर्राष्ट्रीय क्रिकेट या कोई भी क्रिकेट खेलते हो तो हम बैटिंग ज़रूर करते हैं, लेकिन नॉन स्ट्राइकर पे खड़े होके अपने सोच और विचार के साथ कैसे आपको उसे ठीक करना है टू टेक स्ट्राइक अगेन, वो भी एक प्रेपरेशन होती है। और उस चीज़ पे हम काफ़ी प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे कि नॉन स्ट्राइकर पे रहिए, 1-2 ओवर खड़े रहिए, उसके बाद जाके खेलिए एंड हाउ योर बॉडी रिस्पॉन्ड टू दैट। तो वो भी एक चीज़ है जो हमने तब प्रेपरेशन की थी, शायद आज काम आ जाए।
और इसीलिए जब मैं अगर प्लेयर्स को मैं हैंडल करता हूँ या टीम हैंडल करता हूँ, आमशोर अभिषेक आप भी यही करते होंगे, मैं ओपन नेट का बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ। जैसे नेट में भी आप ये काम कर सकते हैं कि आपने 2 खिलाड़ियों को रखा, 2 बैटिंग कर रहे हैं और फिर हर तीसरे चौथे बॉल के बाद आपने स्ट्राइक चेंज की ताकि आपको सोचने का भी मौका मिले, इंतजार करने का मौका मिले, रनिंग बिटवीन द विकेट भी हो जाए। लेकिन अगर ओपन नेट मुझे मिल जाए तो उसका मैं बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ, क्योंकि उसमें आपको एक अंदाज़ा भी रहता है, नेट का कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं रहता और साथ ही में आप बहुत भागते हो और भागने के बाद फिर बैटिंग करना और नेट में सिर्फ एक गेंद के बाद रेगुलर बैटिंग करना, उसमें आप बहुत कुछ गलती कर सकते हो।
अच्छी चर्चा है, इसको अगले ओवर में जारी रखते हैं कि नॉन स्ट्राइकर के लिए इससे चैलेंजेस क्या बढ़ते हैं और जितनी ज्यादा डॉट गेंदें उससे सबसे पहले तो दबाव आप अपने ऊपर ला रहे हैं, क्योंकि शुरुआत तेज मिली थी, 2 बाउंड्रीज के साथ शुरुआत की थी। अब जब आप देख रहे हैं जायसवाल, वो जानते हैं कि बाउंड्री आए, देर हो गई है, 20 गेंदें हो गई हैं, इसे 13 रन है। व्हाट इज द चैलेंज जब आप नॉन स्ट्राइकर्स एंड पे हैं? क्या बहुत ज्यादा सोच विचार चलता है? क्या वो उत्सुकता को कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है? अगर बताएं जल्द से।
यशस्वी जायसवाल पे पहले एक चर्चा करते हैं। आउटसाइड दी ऑफ स्टंप बैकअप प्लेन जो गेंद बाहर की तरफ चल रही थी, वहां पे उन्हें हल्की सी दिक्कत नजर आई है, लेकिन आज सीम मूवमेंट नजर आया इस पिच पर।
आते हैं उस बात पे वापस, एक वाइड इंगीडी के लिए इस ओवर में जो 2 बाउंड्रीज आई हैं, अब ऑलमोस्ट चौथे ओवर की समाप्ति पे वो आई थी पहली ओवर में। उन वाइड दक्षिण अफ्रीका ने इन ओपनिंग स्पेल्स में 28 बिना नुकसान।
Ball passes close to the bat. I'm going to need to go through to Ultra Edge, please, to see if there's any bat involved. Exchange. Thank you. Freeze it there. I have bat on ball with a spike. If I can have the umpire back on screen, please. Right, I'm going to get you to change your original decision to out signal now.
Mohamed looked up at the big screen. His mouth was a bit open. He said, "What?"
Yeah, well done, Quinton de Kock. Quinton de Kock threw it up immediately. He was convinced Tim was giving them the riot act. I think they're talking about the bowling, how it needs to be better. But Rohit Sharma, when he walked down, he kind of shrugged his shoulders as if to say, "Oh, I'm actually not sure." And that's what maybe gave South Africa hope. Anyway, eventually they've got one in the right area. They've landed on the right length, on the right line, and they've got some success. Hasn't been the best start for South Africa, but they'll be mighty happy to sit the back of Rohit Sharma. Goes for 14 of 8, 44.
Giant roar. This game might be in Nava Raipur, but you could have heard it in old Raipur too. As Virat Kohli comes out to bat. Tremendous form. And yet it's a peculiar kind of situation to come into. They've not bowled too well, and they've bowled a couple of good balls in between.
Yeah, conditions different from Ranchi. He'll have to be watchful early, especially if the line is right and in the stump territory. It's a little too pace. The ball will nibble a bit.
India going pretty well in terms of runs. 40 for 1, last ball of the 5th over. Now slip comes back in. Berger, Kohli. Down the ground, 12 runs, but a wicket. 40 for 1. Right, Lungi and Giri. Been a bit indifferent today. Generally, South Africa have been indifferent in helpful conditions. Might seem odd to hear me say that, given they picked up a wicket. Right, round the wicket to the left-hander. Jaiswal's on 13.
Just the body language of Rohit Sharma. When Quinton de Kock went up, said it all. You can see now, Quinton de Kock straight away. Now you hear a sound. Definitely hear a sound there. And he went up straight away. Look at Rohit Sharma. He looks behind. And then when the camera pans to his face, he's not sure. See, there is an element of doubt. There, example again, when you bowl at the stumps, line and length, the pace is a little variable. So you have to make the adjustment. It's not quite coming on. Get the odd one will take off.
South Africa would think they've given India 20 runs at least. Too many in these first 5 and a bit overs. Goes through and he's like, well, I'm not convinced. Stands there, he's waiting to see if they're going to extend it upstairs. And then they do eventually decide to. He walks to Jaswal. Jaswal said, "Did you nick it?" And then he gave a little bit of a shrug, as if to say, you watch him here, he'll give a little shrug where he says, "I'm not too sure." He wasn't convinced either way.
Good corridor to bowl in now for Wendy Greedy. An extraordinary career. Limit one of the greatest in this form of the game.
What was good to see in that last innings was the pockets he was hitting. He was looking to hit on the offside. Move it off to the right of it off. As he sees it, to the left of mid-off. And then opening the face and square driving a lot, using the face to hit it point, backward of point. Not that big cover drive he was looking for earlier.
Probably you've seen a lot more of him, much more closely than other people have. Were you a little surprised he went up over the top as early as he did, or did he just know the conditions that well?
The moment you saw that first shot of his punch down the ground, that's the first signs that he's probably in optimum form. But what was great to see with that shot, okay, the execution was first class, was the balance. It wasn't a charge down the track, it was a measured step down the track, which ensured balance. And the moment he realized he's not quite to the pitch, he could go over the top. So, very much in control.
That'll go the distance. Swivel beautifully and very quickly.
That's glorious. These are the kind of shots he played when he first burst onto the scene. 47 for 1.
Just very quickly judged where the ball was going. Swivel was perfect. Didn't worry where the fielder was. He backed himself to clear the boundary. It's actually one of Greedy's better overs up to that point.
That's a terrific shot to end the over. Just from the crease. It's clear signs he's picking it up early. Sometimes when you're in that frame of mind, you're moving well, you just pick up length fractionally earlier than normal. Just using the pace. Just changing his boot. We felt in the first over when he was bowling those wides, he looked at his shoes a couple of times, soles of his shoes. Losing balance at the time of delivery.
Early contender for the Apollo Dials go the distance. 80 meters. Now here's something interesting. There's a long distance between the boundary rope, then there's a moat, then the crowd starts. So they're quite far away from the boundary rope actually. And my gut feel was maybe a little bit more than 80 meters. That boundary is what, about 62, 63? It probably makes sense. But you can see how far away the spectators are from where the playing area ends because of that moat. .61 meters behind for the full shot. Interesting innings this from Jaiswal. India going at 7.6 and over. He's made 25 balls for his 14. My view was, Ravi, it's just a matter of time before Jaiswal becomes a very serious contender, if not a permanent player at the top of the order in all forms of the game. This is an opportunity, just such riches at the top of the order to choose from in India.
Honestly, really should be at the top. in all formats, and being a left-hander as well. If not in the coming months, very soon.
One thing I did notice when I was out there as well is the pitches alongside the playing strip are a little bit abrasive, so we can look out for some reverse swing later on in the day. I think both balls are going to get scuffed up properly.
Saw that with Corbin Bosch towards the end of the Indian innings, and I talk about Bosch especially because then the ball had become much better by the time India came on. Spoke to him earlier before play started today. But as a fast bowler, very happy with the new rule. Do you have a role to play in enabling this rule, Polly?
I think reverse swing is one of the wonderful skills that was part and parcel of one-day cricket. So we're trying to do everything we can to get that back. And by the ball getting older and more scuffed up, you will get that as the games go on.
So the committee that made that recommendation.
Yeah, so we thought, how do we find a way? Because 34 overs was always the number. At one stage, we used to use one ball for 34 overs, and then they would change it for the last 16, which also took away kind of reverse swing at the back end of an innings. So this time round, you get 17 each, and then you use the last 16, you use one, so obviously gets to 33. But gives it opportunity for that ball to wear, and then the chance for reverse swing. Also gets a little bit softer, so it's not easy to whack out the ground.
I think that's the key as well, not just reverse swing. You know, two hard balls. Bowlers had nowhere to hide.
Once again, in wonderful position, judged the length beautifully. That's a 70-odd meter boundary there, and it's cleared with ease.
Once again, I think the example is to not try and bang it in. Just hit your areas. I think the areas are the difficult one. Every time it's been over-pitched or pitched too short, it's been easy pickings, and that's beautifully played. Just rocks around, hammers it square, as you say. It's a decent-sized boundary, and it's covered it comfortably.
I guess you decide at the start of innings which ball you're going to retain, and maybe work on that a little bit more to get the reverse at the back end. 7 gone, 53 for 1.
53 for 1. Once again, a very, very good start for India. 1 wicket this time. It's Rohit Sharma putting out Andre Berger. It's surprising that normally disciplined South African bowling unit has anything but discipline. And this morning or this afternoon, one can say, Marco Jansen, the first change. Bartman opened the bowling. Marco Jansen coming in 1 change. In the kind of bowling which you normally expect from South Africa. Good afternoon, Sunny Ji. Good afternoon, Dale Singh.
Afternoon, Karthik. Afternoon, Dale. Afternoon, everybody. We've seen a couple of sixes now from the Indian batters.
Nicely flicked. Off his toes, that's his string. Adds to the 6, which is already scored.
Yes, and on the pads, he brings that bottom man into play. Plays the flick shot so well, does Virat Kohli. Have a look at this. Not a bad delivery at all, but it's on the pads, and that allows him to bring that bottom man into play. And once the ball goes past that fielder, it's always going to be a boundary. Because this is a very, very quick outfield.
Have to make lots of fielding changes. If Atemba Bauma, who's in place or is in the team, back in the team. Ryan Rickleton missing out, slightly aerial, but always in control. All the field changes brought about primarily due to the erraticity of the bowling. Once again getting off to a good start. Yashasvi Jaiswal off the mark straight away. Then an inside edge. A few streaky ones for Rohit Sharma. So one found the middle of the plate and one found the edge. Virat Kohli on the back of that 100 off the mark with that brilliant 6 in the previous over. A full 6 for Yashasvi Jaiswal. Not to forget all the wides that South Africa had bowled in.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a bit of a poor start by the South Africans. One down in the series, win the toss, will bowl first. You'd expect them to come out and just be strong with the ball. Those extras, it just sets a bad platform to kind of get going from. Then you changing the field, you're almost chasing the ball, and you bowl a good ball and it's an edge and it goes for 4. South Africa just not on the money from the start.
One's safe to say that the ball has done enough to keep the fast bowlers interested. Overdone after 8, it's 59 for 1. How India started in the first match too. That was in Ranchi. The run rate always between 7.2 and 7.6. Over there it was Subren, Keshav Maharaj rightly back in the playing 11 for South Africa. All the experience, being the captain of South Africa. One would have been surprised that didn't get to start in that playing 11 in Ranchi. Here he is. 3 changes made by South Africa. And he'll be up against an attacking Yashasvi Jaiswal. The one to turn.
Well, first ball is attempted the reverse sweep, knowing that there's a deep mid-wicket in it. Long gone.
Brings out the sweep, and thankfully for Yashasvi Jaiswal, the lack of timing saved him.
Making his intentions clear, yeah, he doesn't want the spinner to settle. Fortunately for him, it's just landed short of Corbin Bosch at square leg. But straight away, the reverse sweep. Big sweep shot then followed. The Indians are saying to the South Africans, we're not going to let you settle. We've gotten off to a good start and we want to continue that.
There for the right-hander. There's a mid-wicket, there's a man within the circle at mid-on. Shot fine. And a deep mid-wicket. Enough indications that this new ball has spun. 2 deliveries from him out of the 3 have spun.
Well, that's interesting because the pitch looks pretty firm. It's landed on the seam.
Certainly enough from the fast bowlers too. That there's a couple that just, if you manage to get the ball in the right area, there was plenty there. Going wide down the leg side, wide outside off, just not allowing your team to get an opportunity. take any wickets. Just going to try and dry it up here a little bit. It's nice and dry. Flaky. What do you think?
Yeah, slightly undulating to feel. Again, tries to bring the reverse sweep again. The lack of timing, saving Yashasvi Jaiswal in this over. 61 for 1 after 9.
Maharaj might have seen him change his that grip and therefore pulled it a lot shorter. Very experienced bowler, Maharaj is.
All the experience of Keshav Maharaj has to bowl within the power play. Just giving away to Marco Jansen now. Also, the other thing which was a bit surprising was the lack of discipline from Lungi Ngidi. He bowled well within himself. He was not running in like the Lungi Ngidi we have normally seen, Dale.
You can see that bounce from the side. Even Virat Kohli is kind of surprised by that. So this pitch certainly has a little bit in it. Just platey, hit the one plate, a little bit of a cross seam, kind of three-quarter seam delivery there. Hit the fingers of Virat Kohli. So plenty in it. If you can just get the ball in the right area. Here's a couple of examples of just getting the ball in the right place. That one I think went for 4, but when he was in the right area. This is the wicket, you'll see it coming now. Just landing the ball in the right area. There it is. People will want to concentrate on just getting the ball into that zone as often as they can.
Even the ones which went for 4th and 3rd were good deliveries. It's just that he didn't have a field. Otherwise the deliveries were good. The surprising bit was Lungi Ngidi. I know the Tiger spread it a bit, but Lungi Ngidi just holding well within himself, just ambling in his run-up.
Steve suggests that it's there, but it's the approach to the wicket. Positive intent like that. More positive intent from Marco Jansen. Bowls a short ball. Jaiswal goes for it. And that is India's 2nd wicket.
What a good bouncer that was. Wrong selection of shot from Jaiswal. I think he was getting a little frustrated at not being able to hit the boundaries. Look where he is. No position whatsoever to be able to play that shot. It's around his back shoulder, which meant that he would have been better off trying to play the ramp shot rather than looking to play against the pace and against the bounce. He's paid the price for it. He's walking back to the pavilion with 22 against his name and a score of 62 for 2.
62 for 2. Normally opens the innings, does Ruturaj Gaikwad, but in this squad and gets a place in the team at number 4. 8 in the previous match, that was in Ranchi. He's up against Marco Jansen. Terrific delivery. What a delivery to receive first up. And somehow he manages to get a 4.
Another very good short delivery. And now don't forget that Ruturaj Gaikwad is an opening bat. He would be prepared for this. But look at that. Took him completely by surprise. Excellent, top class delivery this. Super fast bowling. Oh, look at that. No clue. He had no clue.
Follow-up delivery is important. After 10, 66 for 2.
स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें।
India going unchanged after that victory in Ranchi. Very similar looking batting order. It'll be interesting to see if KL Rahul does come at number 6. Washington Sundar locked in at number 5. Kohli the centurion, he's unbeaten on 13. The first man to go, Rohit Sharma. A good delivery from a spraying non-reverter. And a terrific bouncer, which lulled that full shot from Yashasvi Jaiswal. So India 2 down. Keshav Maharaj got a couple to turn in that first over.
चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें, अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया
hoping for that turn, he gets an inside edge.
Have a slip in position. That's very good captaincy because South Africa recognize that they can get an early wicket again. They've got 2 wickets. Both the openers back in the pavilion. Ruturaj Gaikwad just coming to bat. Kohli also relatively new to the crease. 7 innings, 123. The average a little over 17 for Ruturaj Gaikwad. This is a big opportunity for him. Plenty of overs still to come.
He's a good player of spin, Kaniji. Not only does he open the innings, but he's also a good player of spin. He's out, the second wicket fell. Tuck-in shot, a good bouncer. Once again, Yashasvi Jaiswal falling to a left armour.
Ruturaj Gaikwad is a good player, period. Not just up spin, even fast bowling, but he got surprised by that first up delivery. But he's a very good player, Ruturaj.
Plays it fine. An ill-directed delivery from Keshav Maharaj, and Ruturaj gets a boundary.
Drifting down the leg side, Keshav Maharaj. Ruturaj just playing a very fine little sweep, winning himself 4 runs.
Eleven gone, 74 for 2. Right-handers at the crease, Washington Sundar to follow. Then KL Rahul. Yeah, such a well-directed short one from Yashasvi Jaiswal. Took a while for Cobbin Bosch to pick the ball in the sunlight. his height to good effect there.
Yeah, in the last few years, Marco Jansen has realised that that bouncer of his is so important. He's always trying to get the ball up there to swing it. It's something that he does do really well. But another reason why he gets a lot of wickets is because of that bouncer. 35% of his wickets coming from short balls. His ability to get the ball to bounce from an awkward kind of length. Every other bowler has to bowl it slightly shorter. He bowls it a foot or two fuller. Manages to get that same amount of bounce as every other ordinary bowler. So obviously a reason why it makes it quite difficult for the batters to face.
See the angle that he creates with that bouncer. The one that he bowled to Jaiswal was around the left-hander's off stump, not the leg stump. The leg stump he would have been able to get under it and power it away for a six like he did a couple of overs earlier.
Splice beautifully now. He's getting that extra bounce at that good length. You see the side view here, you'll see it almost hit up high on the bat. Surprising Ruturaj.
But it's also good positive footwork, Sunnyji, when you just think of the first delivery that he received. It was an absolute rip snorter. And as a batter, you're always thinking back foot after that. Very good, because he's an opener. Sometimes as a batter you're thinking, yes, he's bowled a short ball or one which just climbed maybe the plates, the undulance of the surface. But as a batter you're always thinking back foot after that, and good to see that Ruturaj Gaikwad, the very next delivery was a good stride forward. Get the timing right. 12 gone, 77 for 2.
चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे इस टीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे इस टीम को जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे इस टीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को।
If you've got a bouncer
चैनल
first up,
सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें
the next one is going to be
सारे
another
सोशल
bouncer
मीडिया
or a
अकाउंट के
yorker.
ऊपर, ताकि हमारे
He got onto the front foot quite nicely with Ruturaj. It's a very good opportunity for him. Very, very good opportunity. This is the first one. Have a look at that. This is a big forward stride which got him into trouble. This one again.
Oh, gets it fine again. Another paddle from Ruturaj Gaikwad. Rohan Pandit signals for. So 2 shots he's played in a similar vein and in a similar place.
The paddle sweep, you can see that, really a paddle sweep. Looking to hit to the left of the wicket keeper when he goes down the leg side. Second time he's got a boundary like that. Very good shots these. There were two batters earlier on who would play this battle suit very well. Gundappa Vishwanath and Mohammad Azharuddin.
That's the line where Maharaj wants to be. With the new field restrictions, you don't have too many fielders on the onside yet. The normal tendency for a left-arm spinner is to drift the ball in and get the ball to straighten. That's where you've got more protection through the offside. 84 for 2. Jansen is going well. It's been absolutely brilliant. Paul Bravis walks in pretty tight. He's around the 20-22 yard mark every time the batter makes contact. The youth, the exuberance and the agility. As Sunny G likes to call it, Chanti's corner.
Yes, because Janti would be fielding there at the backward point. Yeah, he was so good. To the right, to the left, to the front. Janti was...
Brings out the pull shot. Couple of fielders stationed there. That got off the mark with something Rohit Sharma would have been proud of. Kaniji, just to bring something to your view, there seems to be a pattern with Yashasvi Jaiswal. Third time in this series, which includes the test matches as well. He's been dismissed by a left-armer, got dismissed by Nandre Berger in that first game. 2 out of 3 in test matches. 16 out of his 72 dismissals against left-armers. Is there a pattern?
Not really. It's not that he's getting out to the same in the same way. Today, for example, the shot selection was not correct. But because there had been a few dot balls in the previous over, he was just getting a little anxious maybe and looking to play the attacking shot, attacking option. The better option would have been the ramp shot. But instead he went to play against the pace, against the bounce, and he was out. He was never going to be in control of that.
Taken by surprise, but gets enough for it to go all the way.
Another fine bouncer. Another fine bouncer. The first one that he bowled to him was a slower bouncer at 120. This is quick. This is about 133. So 13 kilometers quicker. That surprised him.
Incredibly unlucky that for Marco Jansen. He's bowled well. Those short balls that he's bowled 2 absolute rip snorters. One catching Gaikwad off guard, the first ball he got, and then this one playing the pull, rushing him with that extra bounce. And I hate to say it, but the bats, they are so good. You get enough bat on it, it actually travels quite some distance over the boundary.
That one didn't climb at all. First 6 in his ODI career for Ruturaj Gaikwad. 14 gone, 92 for 2.
They're 92 for 2 after 14 overs. You look at that scoreboard, I'm not sure it's telling you the entire story. I'm sure there's a fan out there who's saying, I'm very comfortable. Maybe Kohli. All the others, you just can't feel something in this track that makes them uncomfortable. Deepdas Gupta alongside me, Sean Pollock, two lovers of technique. There is some bounce, especially from the end that Mark Jansen's bowling. We've seen the batters a little in discomfort every time the ball's pitched a little short of length. But from the other end, it's a different story, isn't it? And Paulie and I, we were down there before the game started. It could be a deal of two halves, this pitch. And I believe Maharaj is bowling from the right end for the spinner to bowl. Yeah, from the media end, it looks a lot better. This is the other end. This is the far end. It looks a little patchy. So obviously it's not going to, this game's not going to be as high scoring as the one we saw at Ranchi. Got off to a good start, combination of some clever shots, a couple of times uncomfortable. 96 for 2. And 15 overs into this game, it's time for drinks. Jaiswal for 22, Rohit Sharma for 14. The start was frenetic. The bowlers contributed to it as well. Now for Kohli and Gaikwad have put up 34 to 32. Gaikwad's done most of the scoring. 27 out of those. Once again, we're seeing a bit of a skew in the strike. 22 versus 10 balls. Berger 1 for 34 and Giri none for 19. If you're a South African fan, you'd have thought they could have done a little better. Jansen 1 for 22 and Maharaj none for 21. Robin Bosch gets the ball. Good bowler, good typical South African bowler. Big ball, hits the deck. Continuing this great tradition of seam bowling all-rounders. Which is good. I mean, the backyard going to seam bowling all-rounders. One of the people who have come through in the last 4 or 5 years. You look back, 2019-20, South Africa was staring down the barrel. Troublesome administration. They had a terrible World Cup. They lost at home. They came to India. Didn't look like a South African team. The last 4 or 5 years, and I think players like Robin Bosch, Marco Jansen played a big part in that. There was Kluzner, Scallis was from batting in. And you just encourage his children when you finish bowling to bat a lot.
I think at the schools you want to be doing or involved. For a lot of the kids in South Africa will play multiple sports. You know, they'll play hockey or rugby in off-season, or soccer, and then there's cricket in the
3 ओवर का समय लगा है भारतीय टीम को शुरुआती 100 रन बनाने के लिए.
Growing up playing so many different ball sports that you kind of want to be involved all the time. So to bat and bowl seems like
डाली गई गुडलन की गेंद थी. बल्लेबाज ने इस गेंद को रक्षात्मक अंदाज में शॉर्ट कवर पर खेला. कोई भी रन लेने का मौका नहीं. स्कोर बना रहेगा ऋतुराज गायकवाड़ का 30 रनों का. 25 गेंदों का सामना कर चुके हैं. इनका स्ट्राइक रेट लगभग 120 का है.
Gone up to 30. It's got a start now here, ऋतुराज गायकवाड़. He's got
भारतीय टीम के लिए जिस तरह
very happy ability to convert starts into big scores. 100 comes up too in very good time. With the fear of the dew. They had that dew machine, the spray going on for about an hour and a half almost today. But given that over the last 2 or 3 days there's been a lot of dew, you would almost say 350 not enough, or on this surface that's good enough?
350 would be a lot of runs on this surface is what I believe. I was mentioning it's not going to be as high scoring as what we saw in Ranchi, but again batting first you got to be mindful of the dew factor as you mentioned, and this is talking to the chief curator, and he was talking about this massive last evening. In fact, the Indian team, they cancelled their fielding session because it was so wet, the outfield.
Maybe that explains why KL Rahul just threw his head back in disappointment at the toss. It's 20 games in a row now that India have lost the toss. Work out the chance of that happening. And yet the next time you go out, it's still 1 and 2.
You're the math guy. Tell us.
It's just 1 and 2 every time. It's a new event every time you go out to bat. The chance of you getting it right is 1 in 2. The chance of you getting it right twice is 1 in 4. One for 2. Maharaj with his 5th. Will not be made about the toss that they got. Under looking at it, they lost 19 in a row. India won 12 of those games.
Yeah, also as a home team captain, you can't do much. You're actually flipping the coin. You're not calling it. But then, yeah, 20 of them. That's quite a few. And it does have an effect in terms of, especially when you're playing in the subcontinent, the dew factor and everything else. even though in the last game, I think the umpire did a fabulous job of changing the ball once it got a little wet in the second innings.
Interesting to get one of the statisticians out there.
चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते, शेयर करते, अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें. स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को. चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें. स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को. चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें.
Right, Corbin Bosch bowled so well in Ranchi. Went out to the toss, did KL Rahul. I think Ravi might have asked him about it as well at the toss. So Timber's called right. Oh, not again. Why, Ismail, why?
There's nothing much you can do as a skipper.
He's down to 7. He's only been out there 4 times out of those 20.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Those 20 occasions we're talking about. We talk about 3 captains as well. KL Rahul, Rohit, Shubman. Come on, one of them. Which team was it? Send somebody else for a top? Was it South Africa?
Yeah. Buff sent someone, I can't remember who sent. Yeah, nice.
I think I'm luckier with the toss. He probably said, nah, no one's.
Yeah, South Africa's bowling hasn't been great. And I'm sitting here thinking, pitch map. Of all the boundaries that we've seen today, how many of them have come from a good area? I've asked Hawk to put it up. And surprise, surprise, how many are there? Just one. One boundary of all the boundaries that there's been.
चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें. स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को. चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें. स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को.
In fact, that was the one we were talking about.
चैनल
too short, too full, too short. Overpitched leg stump. There was a japper, so we'll forgive him that one. Short again, full, but nothing off a decent length. So the game plan for South Africa fast bowlers it's simple. Just hit back of a length, much like Bosch has done there. And they're not going to hit you down the ground. The only boundary has gone behind. So it should be really difficult to get away.
Yeah, and the pace as well, because it's not true as Ranchi. You can't hit through the line in Ranchi because the pace was so true. It's nicely coming onto the bat. Every ball, you can just play through the line on the rise. This isn't that kind of a surface.
Saw that with Kohli a couple of times trying to hit on the up. The ball wasn't quite there. So should be looking at 2. 6 and over, 108 for 2. They'll come back for 2. Just a little fraction of a second. Not quite as clean as normal, and they came back for 2.
It's important, this partnership, because both these batters are accumulators. I'm talking about the pitch, you need accumulators on the surface, not boundary hitters only. That's what this partnership is done. Quick start, or a few boundaries initially with Raj Gaikwad, and came out the bat. Settled down nicely.
So what's a good score in your point of view at this stage, seeing how the track's behaving? With and without
व्यू के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम को जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब।
Into third over now, Corbin Bosch. Probably get a 4-over burst here, then come back and bowl 2 or 3, lead 3 for the back end. He's positioning himself a bit as the death over specialist, who's excellent in Ranchi. Just telling me Shukri Pandit while he was just walking out before, and he said that's the role that's been assigned for him. We are very clear. This is what's expected of him. It's a big ask to bowl the last 3. Especially if you're bowling 46, 48, 50, you go for runs on 46. There's no option. You still have to come back and bowl 48 and 50. That was Veras from the BCCI coming here to watch the game. Giant stadium like this year, the Chhattisgarh Cricket Association hosting a game of this importance. Just put that in the gap, it was 2 in the deep.
Now it's the last game. Eden Markham was leading the side. He just chose to go with 5 ball if they had a few more options. Aiden Markham himself. Brevis. It'll be quite interesting to see, especially both of them are spin options, whether we get to see them bowl.
Lovely. Just take that in and wait for the replay.
Yeah, this is brilliantly played, but this is an example of, because Bosch has hit back of a length, it's been difficult to pick up boundaries, so Kohli adjusts. Use of the feet, cross-seam delivery, gets somewhere near the pitch of it, and just hammers it through Milan.
That was bludgeoned. And the commitment. If you look at the side view as well, you see everything going towards the ball. He just gave everything in it. Look at the head going through, the body weight going through. I wonder if this is going to be Virat's game plan. Anything fuller, he's going to go after it. Be completely committed to it. Anything back of length would look to play in the gaps and pick up those singles and twos. Moving towards the bowler, and look at that, everything into that shot going forward.
Eighth game of that over. 121 to do. For Virat Kohli, and short time for all of you to savor. Gorgeous shot down the ground. There was mid on there, just a little wide. And so decisive. Kohli, you've been up there among the best players in the world. The one thing that to me separates them is they're so decisive in their thought process. He's played 25-30 balls now. He's clear what he can do, what he doesn't want to do.
When you played so much cricket, you get a gut feel of what's required. You kind of bat there, and as I say, that's what he would have been thinking. He would have found boundaries easy to come by, and then all of a sudden there's a period where he can't get away, He thinks, well, there's middle on the middle pup, what I have to do, how do I have to adjust the game plan here? And it's just a little shimmy down, which means he catches it a little bit fuller. It would be difficult to drive if he had stayed in the crease. And by adjusting, he managed to get over the top of the bounce. Puts the pressure on the bowler.
I think the non-striker a bit by surprise too, that shot. Oh, another day. Another day that's going back on. Is that a moment of luck? Gaikwad, don't grudge him that. He's got to make the most of it. Now where is Gaikwad? Oops, down in time. It's funny how we're all watching it and we're ducking in the commentary box as that happened.
This is wonderful. This is exactly what Kohli's talking about, that back of length. And also when you have fielders like Brevis and Markram stopping that single, it's so difficult to tap and run as well. Getting those boundaries initially has allowed him to kind of take his time now. 4 dot balls in this over.
left-handers for South Africa. We saw that in Ranchi as well. Over the years, not a lot of left-hand quicks from South Africa. Still remember one though, probably every Indian does, on that first trip. Some of us were lucky to be on that trip. And you just got the feeling, you looked at him and you say he hates batters. It was Brett Schulz from that left arm over angle. He obviously, someone had told him that you're only allowed to pitch the ball in your half and go straight at the batter.
I blame Kepler Wessels. He played under him for so many years and terrorized teams around South Africa with a quick short pitch bowling.
I can understand why. Kepler's first 10 test matches were against the West Indies. This man's a very good bowler. Just single, only 2 of that over. Better start to this spell than the first one. 123 for 2.
So 123 for 2. Nice partnership with 61 from 68. Both players in. There's Marco.
Lots of South African bowlers starting with a wide today. There's been a pattern with many of them. Feature of this partnership, and especially Kohli's batting has been easy with these picked up singles. There have been a few dot balls bowled at Ruturaj Gaikwad by the spinners, but Kohli at the other end managed to hit a single almost every ball. Another wide.
Eleven wide so far. South Africa have been a little erratic in that department. Going along nicely, 6 and over. This partnership carries on. It's a good platform from where they can push on towards the end. They've got wickets in hand. One of these players go on to get a 3-figure score, and India are in for a big score.
The standout about this partnership has been the running between the wickets. It's been absolutely terrific. Kohli, we all know, is one of the fastest, if not the fastest runner between the wickets, and Ruturaj Gaikwad is matching him. It's the awareness of running the first one hard, putting pressure on the fielder. So aggressive batting is not just about big shots like 6s and 4s. It's the aggressive running between the wickets.
They've rotated the strike nicely against spin, especially Virat Kohli. He's worked it around. You see plenty of singles there. That's a fine shot. And that'll race away to the boundary.
The extra cover drive. Kohli special. Have a look at the presentation of the bat when it comes down. Have a look at it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's the bat speed. It's a flashing blade.
Outstanding wrist, just the way he maneuvers those wrists with that cover drive. It's like a top spin through the offside.
Very sloppy. Very unlike South Africa. 14 of the over, 137 for 2.
Something that you don't see too often. Good running between the wickets and throw a little bit wide of the mark. But backward keeping an eye on the ball, so just turn it back for a second. And again, the speed at the bowler's end. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Seeing that shot in the last over, it takes your mind back 10 years ago. This was the kind of shots he was playing against off spin, especially Nathan Lyon in Australia. See how low he gets. He hit even against the spin. There's not much spin there, but it's low to really get those wrists going through the ball. Opening the face of the blade to get the power and placement.
There you are once again, magnificent running between the wickets. It makes such a difference when you can steal singles like that, right from under the fielder's noses, so to speak. What a pair this is. Wonderful to watch them run between the wickets.
This seems to be in the zone. Innings will do Ruturaj to a world of good. Back to the side, he's got off to a start, he's looked fluent today.
He's had a bit of luck to go along with it, which any batter needs, Ravi. Especially when you're batting out of position, that's not your normal position. You've been used to opening. Yes, batting at number 4, didn't get a start in the first game, or a low score in fact. Now he's got a start.
2 is the call.
The first delivery he received could have gone up anywhere. Thankfully for him, it went for 4. His partnership worked 78, and that's what he got. First up. But in between that, he's played some fine shots as Ruturaj Gaikwad. This too could have gone anywhere. But the man at the other end, just continuing in the same vein of form from Ranchi.
They've been really off the mark today with a number of extras. Started off in the first over itself. A number of wides. Good partnership this, and both batsmen contributing. Massive crowd here now. It will be a crowd in excess of close to 50,000.
Another example of the running between the wicket, the aggressive running between the wicket. The ball was hit towards the fielder, but they saw who the fielder was. It was just a little bit deep, but that was good enough for them to look at this. Look at that, still very place. Kohli at the other end, very ready to come for that.
Yeah, you know how quick Virat Kohli is, but here you can see Ruturaj Gaikwad be deceptively quick. And 6 of the over, 23 gone, 1-4-3 for 2. 43 for 2. Still Markham. 14 off his first over.
You mentioned the running between the wickets, and the previous example to Sunny and Ravi. Sometimes you see a bit of a stutter or a hiccup between two batters when they don't trust each other, but it seems like these two trust each other. Just that call, that short, tight single to mid-off, Virat didn't even look back. Normally it's a general tendency for a batter to look back before he runs, but he trusts what Gaikwad is doing. And that seems to be a feature in this running.
Yes, also as a non-striker, I think it is important for you to be aware of where the field is. And therefore, once you know where the field is, then you don't necessarily look at where the ball is going, where the fielder is. You just trust your partner and go for that. And that's what you can see between these two. They just look at each other, trust their judgment, and they run.
Yes, those are the best runners between the wickets here. That's when it's at its best. Each one understanding the other. Trust becomes important. Trust the striker's ball. Punched off the back foot for 4. Moves to 49 here with Raj.
It looked as if you were just waiting for that. He knew that there was no protection there. Waiting for that ball to be just a little bit short. Look at that. Makes a bit of room and then powers it away.
And that's 50. So very good innings this. And his second in one-day international cricket. It'll do his confidence a world of good.
There you can see how it's been acknowledged by the man at the other end, Virat Kohli. He spoke about the partnership. He's been the one who came after Virat Kohli but has got to the half-century mark before him. Ravi and Sunny, 6 bowlers used by South Africa, barring Marco Jansen and Maharaj. None of the others have had any sort of control.
Again, excellent running. 24 gone, 154 for 2.
See Markram's expressions immediately. Virat Kohli ran the first one as he normally does, but it was a response of Ruturaj Gaikwad at the other end because he had to run to the danger end. But Marco Jansen not getting to the ball fast enough. It's the second time that he has done that.
A mixed bag for South Africa today in the field. Not just the bowling being a little erratic, but even fielding standards, which is normally so good. There's Ngidi. Yes, very good half century. Good one earlier on. And then those 2 paddle sweeps got him on his way. It's particularly good against the spinners. See the crowd now. Very expectant. He's on 49, Kohli. And it's a sea of blue there, as one would expect when you play in India. 2,000 people, I would imagine.
26 in India, 26 abroad, 24 batting first, on the cusp of his 76th.
Just carrying on from where he left in Ranchi. Yet another half century. 76 in total on the top of his 5200s.
He just loves this format, doesn't he? Makes batting look so simple, so easy. The way he's built his innings up. 50 or 47 deliveries. He will accelerate. Another 25 overs to go after this over is complete.
Just looked at Quinton de Kock, the Mbabawuma, he said struck outside.
I've just been surprised, I said this before as well, I've been surprised with the intensity from the Indeed. He's been here from the second test match, way outside the off stump. The speed at which he has operated, yes, the maximum might have been 136, but just the way he's operating, surprising.
Now, top players, they don't waste form. When they get on a roll, they make it count. His third 50 on the trot. Started in Sydney, in Ranchi, now 1 year in Raipur. Just 4 of the over. At the halfway stage, it's 158 for 2.
सारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को। चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्क्रीन के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को,
Strike, cover distance.
चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल सब्सक्राइब करते जाएं, स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दें, शेयर कर दें अपने सारे सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट के ऊपर, ताकि हमारे साथ बाकी भी जितने भी दोस्त हैं सारे स्ट्रीम के ऊपर जुड़ सकें। स्ट्रीम को लाइक करते जाएं, शेयर करते जाएं, सब्सक्राइब कर लें चैनल को, चैनल
Strike, cover distance. Look at that front foot, how far down the track it goes. Ten off the
the moment it might just pop out.
Put one down the other day too. Very relieved. That's exactly what South Africa need now. They're going to try and bowl through new batter as much as possible right now.
2 runs and a wicket. 257 for 3 after 36.
Previous 100 came of 102 in Ranchi. Where's the delivery that I can maybe cash in on the boundary? Get me to my milestone. We saw him also kick on in dramatic fashion. The innings of 1991 to the next 12 deliveries. He put on 50 runs. It away, maybe looking to go over, but he didn't go over, but it went between the two fielders, and Carroll rolls underway.
An absolute crackdown from Kecho Maharaj, who bowled such a tight first spell. Then a change of ends didn't work well for him. Back at his favourable end. And his third ball, an absolute gift to KL Rahul. One of the reasons why everybody's been pumping for him is number 4 or number 5 are his numbers, and the fact that he needs some time. He needs a dash in T20. He takes his time in ODIs. So you want to give him some time. This was an absolute crackdown.
It certainly was. But he batted quite superbly in Ranchi, the Indian skipper. And carrying on from that form, he's got confidence. Scoring at 7.17 with 30 overs, 78 deliveries, 79 deliveries still left in the innings.
Same shot this time along the ground. It's been pushed back, so we'll cut it off, but comfortably back for a second. .266. So far, some wonderful bounces as well during the spell, which could have picked up another wicket or two. The crowd now starting to chomp. They're into it. That's from the leg side. He should be able to get back for 2. I think he will. No, he turns it down. Everyone was off their chair. They were waiting for the moment. And Virat Kohli says, you wait a little bit longer.
Harker really came in from that deep mid-wicket position. Denying the second run. The way he speeds away, but quickly realizes that he
Yes. Turns that down.
Yes, people talk about how good a batter has been over the years, but he's also been a great judge of runs. Where the singles are and how quickly he can take the second away, he can extract the third. But that's been the feature of his career so far, Virat Kohli, not just his batting alone.
I keep on saying aggressive batting is not just about boundaries and sixes. It's a running between the wickets as well.
Oh, that's beautifully played. He hasn't taken long to get going here. Rahul up and over.
Magnificent shot. Just tells you that, when you're in this position, when you've got some runs under your belt in the previous game, your confidence is high. You know that the pitch is pretty good. The ball's coming out to the bat quite nicely. That's a lovely shot.
Struggles to find his timing in this game. He started in the run sheet. No issues tonight. 13 off 7. He's off to a flag. Delivery less than the over. You want to see the delivery that takes him to 100.
When you look at the crowd, everybody is actually standing up in anticipation. Look at them, they are all standing up, they're all wanting to record the moment. They always tell, we were there.
Chance of Kohli ringing around the stadium. South Africa, they've got some of their fielders in on the single. Punches it to Lamont, and that's 100 number 53 for King Kohli. The 10th time he's gone back-to-back. And there's been very few as impressive as this one. Hasn't offered up any opportunities, played superbly, and a wonderful strike rate. Another fantastic innings.
Absolutely, why do you need Superman when there's Kohli? What an innings this has been. Absolutely terrific. The way he spaced it, the way he ran between the wickets, everything. And what he's shown is that you don't really need to do any cute shots. There are no scoops or reverse sweeps. His strength is being properly getting shots. And look at the rate at which he scored as well. 90 deliveries against 100. 175 to 3.
The over 275 for 3. And strike rate has been impressive. 102 deliveries he took to get this 100 in run sheet. And he's outdone himself again. 100 of just the 90 deliveries today. 7 fours and 2 maximums in that display. Cut loose. He's going to be a bit more adventurous. Just knocked it onto the leg side. He just needed the single. Knocked it into the leg side, and the celebration's good for him.
One more single when you have a look at his career record with 500 singles. Singles are the lifeblood of batting in any format of the game. It makes the batter feel that he's on the move, not stagnating, not being blocked by the bowlers. Running between the wickets has been massive strength for Kohli. And he makes it easy for the batters at the other end as well. Because it's not just his runs, but he's always looking for the extra for his partner. We saw that in that partnership with Raj Gaikwad.
Absolutely fabulous.
This is the second time he's lost his footing, he's lost his run up. Seems like he's struggling here, Brother.
Actually watching him, he's been doing lots of stretches. He's gone through the afternoon. This is a major blow because he's just done the 6 overs, so they're going to have to find 4 other ones. It's cramp ball, but he's actually a legitimate injury there. He's going to hobble off to this point and just to get him together. He's like, no, I can't go through it. You can see the crevice on his face. Lots of stretches. He's doing stretches throughout the day, which tended to suggest there was quite a bit of tightness in his body. And the limb off, that doesn't look good at all. Looks more like an injury, doesn't it, compared to cramp?
Yeah, seems like he's in a lot of pain. Never a good sign to see him walk out injured. But he's given up. There's no expressions on his face as he's walking past the boundary road. Also a task on hand for the skipper into his 7th over, which means somebody will have to make up for him. Aiden Markram, always seen as a good option, but he's not had the best of times today. Has gone for 25 off his 2. Many bowlers have. But they have to make do with what they have, South Africa.
He's the most expensive bowler by 5, 12.5 for the over. They'll have to finish this one, the 7th over for Thunderbird, and then bowl 3 more of his own. There's no other option. Maybe give up Travis could be asked to bowl him over the next 2 or 2. Give the best bowling performance and have extra pressure being applied.
With a magic arm, he's been trying to tell me to tell you that you need to look at him as an option.
Oh, he's got away with that, Aiden Markram. The approach today has been a little bit fired down the leg side.
He's also been bowling in during the warm-ups, Wally, without Davis.
Not sharp putting work in, not sharp telling everyone he wants to bowl. Oh, that's nasty scooped. That'll go away to the fence. Looking gives chase, but in vain.
Smart cricket. Well aware of where the fielder's eye. He knows that the fielder is in the 30-meter circle. So just a little scoop. That ball was bowled about 95 kilometers per hour. Pretty speedy for a spinner. That's what he's done. He just scooped it up. Nicely done.
Still 9 will be further until South Africa put the extra boundary rider out. So only 4 people allowed outside the ring. There's a gap on the offside. Yeah, well, always much of a reverse sweeper. Might be considering. Does, and he gets it over. This should be tracked down though. Get back to 2.
It's good to see him start this way, because there's been many instances where he takes a bit of time and you wonder why is KL Rahul taking that time, because he's such a fine batter. If he can get off to this kind of a breezy and a free-flowing start, he always does well for the team, augurs well for India, because that's what he's capable of.
That's a drag down, has to be put away, but almost Darden in the touch, just trying to get to Gretzky on the square leg boundary.
Ball became a little slow off the surface. So he'll be thinking that he might have missed out on a boundary, but still there was a run.
Just nudges it down to the end of the over for 10 runs from that over, plus an injury. 284 for 3. quality was not great. Initially, they let India get off to a fast start and didn't show much discipline whatsoever. Goes up to Nova. Could this hold out? Yes, it does up here. Aiden Markham, he doesn't drop too many. Getting into the attack, he rolls his fingers across it. And Virat Kohli's wonderful.
मंजरनामा मामूली नहीं है। जनूबी एशिया में ताकत का तवाज़ुन ऐसे बदल रहा है जैसे जमीन के अंदर कोई खामोश दरार आहिस्ता आहिस्ता फैलती जा रही है। एक तरफ इंडिया है जो बरसों से खत्ते को अपनी गिरफ्त में रखने की कोशिश करता है, दूसरी तरफ तुर्की है जो अब महज खलीज, मशरक़ वस्ता या यूरोप की सियासत तक महदूद नहीं रहा, बल्कि सीधा बहरे हिंद में कदम जमा रहा है। ये वो लम्हा है जहां एक नए सिफारती खेल की बिसात बिछ रही है। पाकिस्तान उसके बीच एक ऐसे शराकतदार के तौर पर खड़ा है जो तुर्की के लिए ना सिर्फ स्ट्रेटजिक अहमियत रखता है, बल्कि एतमाद के उस रिश्ते का हिस्सा भी है जिसे दहाइयों में मजबूत किया। इंडिया और तुर्की के दरमियान ताल्लुकात पहले भी नरम नहीं थे, मगर पिछले चंद वर्षों में कशीदगी बढ़ती चली गई। तुर्की की तरफ से कश्मीर पर पाकिस्तान के मौक़िफ़ की हिमायत, पाकिस्तान को जदीद ड्रोन्स और F-16 तैयारों की फराहमी और फिर मई में पाकिस्तान और भारत के दरमियान 4 रोज़ा तसादुम में तुर्क ड्रोन्स के इस्तेमाल का इंकशाफ, ये सब कुछ नई दिल्ली के लिए एक ऐसी चुभन है जिसने सियासी सतह पर भी इस तरह पैदा किया। भारत ने खोल के तुर्की को अपने तहफ़्फ़ुज़ात से आगाह किया, मगर तुर्की ने ना अपनी ज़ुबान नरम की ना अपनी पॉलिसी नरम। उसके फ़ौरन बाद तुर्क सदर ने पाकिस्तान के साथ यकजहती का ऐलान किया। फिर तुर्की के कौमी दिन की तकरीबात में भारत को हाशिए पे रख लिया गया, यहाँ तक कि तुर्की ने भारत के लिए अमरीकी अपाची हेलीकॉप्टर्स की फ़ज़ाई क्लियरेंस देने से भी इनकार कर दिया, जिससे ये वाज़ेह हुआ कि अंकारा किसी भी कीमत पर भारत के लिए सिफारती रियायत देने का ख्वाहिशमंद है। आप सब पर सलाम की, मैं यासिर रशीद हूँ और आप देख रहे हैं सुनो। नाज़रीन, तुर्की की यह हिकमत अमली सिर्फ पाकिस्तान तक महदूद नहीं, उसने भारत के पड़ोस में अपने कदम तेजी से जमाना शुरू कर दिए और कदम इस तेजी से जमाना शुरू किए हैं कि सबसे पहले बांग्लादेश की मिसाल सामने आती है, जहां हसीना वाजिद की हुकूमत के खात्मे के बाद तुर्की ने नई उबूरी हुकूमत के साथ फौजी ताउन को बढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया। ड्रोन्स, मिसाइल सिस्टम, हल्के टैंक्स और एक डिफेंस